Can you believe we are just a couple of weeks from summer solstice? Like the longest day of the year is fast approaching. Somehow it just seems like yesterday that we were still thinking about spring. And here we are, right smack dab in the middle of summer. So, what are we talking about today? We are going to finally reveal how much yarn I officially purchased through the Joann haul, and then also what I got in that free gift from my friend. So if you haven't watched the Joann haul video, I certainly encourage you to check it out. I bet most of you have, but just in case, it's up there and it's in the notes below for sure. But I'm going to reveal. So if you haven't guessed yet, go put your guess in right away because, well, I guess it's probably too late. So let's talk about May's numbers. So in May, I made 6 projects. I completed 6 projects. So for me, it's all about the completion. It's not if I started something, it is about if I completed it. Because to me, it doesn't count if it goes into hibernation. That yarn can be used for something else or whatever the case may be. It's only if I've completed the project. So this is the biggest project that I completed in May. This top is very loosely based on the Poppy pullover by, Farrah will tell you. I can't remember the designer's name, but I will definitely link it down below. This is very loosely based on that pattern. It is the same stitch pattern, but she used a DK weight. This is a technically it's a worsted, but because it is one of those yarns that's kind of a thick and thin, I had to use a bigger hook size. So I went from what I normally would make would be a large all the way down to a small to sort of compensate. And while I thought this yarn was going to really be a neat effect, a neat texture for that particular pattern, and I do think it does make a really neat texture. Overall, I really like it. I just feel like even going all the way down to a small, it still came out too big for me. So it's supposed to be very roomy. It's supposed to be a loose fit, but I kind of have a thing about garments that are too sort of big and flowy and roomy, and so we all have those kind of quirky stories, and this one dates back to when I was in high school and I was taking a driver's ed class and I was wearing a sweatshirt, which might be one of the other reasons why I don't like wearing sweatshirts. And let me tell you, it took me forever to get to 110 pounds. And I know it was 110 pounds because that's when I could officially donate blood. And for the longest time, I was not a spit over 110 pounds, so I wasn't allowed to donate blood. Anyway, I was wearing a sweatshirt to my driver's ed class, and somebody actually asked me if I was pregnant. And I think from that moment on, I have had this super negative association with personally wearing garments that are too kind of big and loose because I'm afraid they make me look chunkier than I actually am. Now this one, I don't know. What do you think? Let me know. I did list this in my store, so for those of you that don't know, I now have a store, and you can go check out what my completed garments are that are for sale, and eventually I'll have patterns as well. The store is, it's crochet.com. and you can go see. And so I did list this for sale there because I just think it's a little too big for my body and for the style that I tend to like to wear. I think the pattern worked up really neat. I actually really do love this yarn for this overall. It just is too big. I guess I should have gone down to an extra small, or maybe it's just not a pattern design that works for the style that I prefer. So anyway, this was my biggest pattern. This was the biggest thing that I finished, and this one ended up using, let me check here, 550 grams. So this was kind of a big use of yarn. So it ate up a lot of yarn. The other thing that I made, I did make this a bucket hat, and I actually kind of think it came out pretty cute overall. I think I kind of like it. I don't know if I'll wear it. Again, I don't wear the bright, vivid multicolors of any sort. I tend to keep it either more muted like this, or I'll just do like 1 or 2 bold colors, but not a whole bunch all at once. That's just, I don't know, it's not my style. But I do think this came out pretty cute, and I am going to check with my granddaughter. She's probably going to want it. And if she doesn't, I might go ahead and throw this up in the store. This did use a really nice yarn. It used a Noro yarn, which is a mid to higher end yarn. So there's some silk in there, and some wool and some other a little bit of husky hair. So it is pretty cute though. I think it's pretty cute overall, and I'm pretty happy with the way it came out. This ended up using 63 grams of yarn. Then I also made the first Beach Waves bucket bag. I don't know if you can see that. There we go. I made a prototype of this using a different base bottom, and that I actually gave to somebody, and that ended up using 91 grams. Then this was the actual prototype for the pattern that I am working on that should be released by the end of this month. And this one ended up using, where is it? 120 grams of yarn. And then I had a couple of just really quick projects. I had one that used up 13 grams. That was the little succulent plant that I did. And I made a red, white, and blue washcloth using that horrible Red Heart scrubby yarn. I made one of those, and that used up 35 grams. So in total, let me get my notes here. In total, I used up 872 grams of yarn in May. Now, let's talk about that stash increase that we acquired. All right, there were a couple of guesses that were pretty darn close. One that was just over and one that was just under. So, for the Joann haul, I purchased 4,068 grams of yarn. Yikes. And for the yarn that was gifted to me from a friend, I brought in 1,696 grams for a total increase of 5,764 grams. So there were guesses that I think were like 5,500, and I think there was one that was just over at 6,000. So both of those were like really, really close to the mark. And you guys, you're spot on. You're really close to being able to gauge how much that yarn was. So kudos to you. Now, with the amount used, that means I increased my stash for May by 4,892 grams. Now, when you're talking about my whole goal is to decrease by 2,000 grams, that is definitely in the wrong direction, girlfriend. Yeah, not good. And year to date, my total increase is 4,690 grams. So right now, to meet my goal, I have to use up 6,690 grams. And I have 6 months to do that. So that means if I don't buy another inch of yarn, and spoiler alert, I already have, but that's for another conversation. If I had not bought and did not buy another stitch of yarn for the rest of this year, I would need to use up about 1,100 grams of yarn a month. Wow. I think I probably, on average, use up about 800 grams. I have a little bit of work cut out for me. And, I mean, am I done? Am I really going to not buy any more yarn? I mean, look, Joann, a big company like that going out of business is well, hopefully it's once in a lifetime. So, if we took that out, just the 4,000, then I would only be up like about 600 grams right now. And so I'd only have 2,600 grams. So, that would be going in the right direction. But I bought all that extra yarn because it was clearanced for 70, maybe it was only 60%. It was 60% off. So how could I say no to that? Yeah. It's all going to get used eventually, right? But the problem with us yarn collectors is that we have the best intention to use up all that pretty yarn, and then we see more pretty yarn, and then we have the best intention to use that pretty yarn too, and unfortunately we have more, our eyes and our hearts are bigger than the amount of time we have to crochet. Yeah. So I am currently working on another top, and this is the Salonia top, I think it is. And that's working up pretty quick. I think that'll use up about 350 grams. I did buy a little bit of extra yarn from a local yarn shop, and I have a video on that coming out pretty soon. In addition, I have a couple of projects. If you've been watching my Instagram, you see that I'm going to be starting to make some sleeves for a denim jacket, very similar to the sweatshirt that I have here, only for denim jackets. And I have a couple of those, so I'll be making a video all about that as well. So I've got some good stuff coming up, and I hope you stay tuned. And let's see, what do we have coming up next? All kinds of good stuff. So we've got the yarn haul, we've got the project that I'm working on, we've got more stuff to explore. The pattern is going to be coming out at the end of the month. Oh my goodness, guys, you need to stay tuned. Make sure that you're subscribing so you don't miss any of this good stuff. So thank you so much for staying tuned to this May recap. and my backward slide on my yarn. It's gonna get better, I hope. Fingers crossed. It will. Okay, Farah, take us out.